Scientists have just discovered something incredible in the deep sea, something that completely turns our understanding of evolution and the origin of life on Earth and in the entire universe upside down. Let's travel to the deep sea together and explore the source of the mysterious dark oxygen. Welcome, friends. Space, science, deep sea on this channel. I will keep you up to date on all these exciting topics, so subscribe and activate the bell. It's free, you'll never miss a video, and you'll help me immensely. Thank you guys. So now let's dive into the depths of the ocean, more precisely into the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, a huge area in the Pacific Ocean between Hawaii and Mexico. Here at a depth of 4,000 meters, researchers have discovered something that has puzzled scientists, a mysterious source of oxygen that apparently works independently of sunlight and photosynthesis. But why is that so special? To understand that, let's take a quick look at how oxygen is normally produced. On Earth, most of the oxygen is produced by photosynthesis. Plants, plankton, and certain bacteria use sunlight to produce sugar from carbon dioxide and water, and oxygen as a byproduct. Of course, this only works where sunlight can reach, but at a depth of 4,000 meters, it is pitch black. No ray of sunlight penetrates that deep into the ocean. Imagine you are a deep-sea explorer in a submarine, and you're diving deeper and deeper. At around 200 meters, it gets pitch black. Even if you had a flashlight with you, which I would definitely recommend for a deep-sea dive, you would hardly be able to see anything from 1,000 meters. And at 4,000 meters, there is a darkness that you can hardly imagine. Perfect for all fans of Subnautica, drop me a line if you know the game, but definitely not the place where you would expect to find an oxygen source. And yet, that is exactly what researchers found. During investigations of the seabed in the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, they came across areas where the oxygen concentration was suddenly much higher than in the surrounding area. Not only that, the concentration continued to rise over a period of 48 hours. What is lurking down there? You might say,
wait a minute, Astro Tim. Maybe the researchers simply overlooked a leak in their oxygen tank.
Don't worry, the scientists thought of that too. They repeated their measurements several times and even checked them using different methods. The result was always the same. Something is producing oxygen down there in the deep sea. And not just a little bit either. In some cases, the oxygen concentration rose to 3 times the normal level. The marine ecologist Andrew Sweetman, who was involved in the study, says, "When we first received this data, we thought the sensors were defective because every study ever conducted in the deep sea has only consumed oxygen, not produced it. But after checking the data several times, the situation is clear. So where does this dark oxygen come from, as the researchers call it? Is a secret underwater civilization operating a secret colony there? The researchers have another fascinating theory. It could be a kind of natural electrolysis. You may remember electrolysis from chemistry class. It is a process in which water is broken down into its constituent parts of hydrogen and oxygen using an electric current. Normally, you would need a battery or another power source for this, but in the deep sea? There's no electricity there, is there? But actually, there could be. The scientists have measured an electrical voltage of up to 0.95 volts between different points on the surface of manganese nodules. Manganese nodules are potato-sized lumps of various metals that lie on the seabed, and it is precisely these nodules that could be used to power a natural battery and split seawater into hydrogen and oxygen. Imagine millions of little batteries lying around on the seabed producing oxygen as a byproduct. It sounds almost too crazy to be true, but in science, it is often the craziest ideas that turn out to be true. I mean, do you remember the story of Newton and the apple? Sometimes it takes a blow to the head to come up with groundbreaking new ideas, except that in this case we're not talking about apples but manganese nodules. And not about gravity, but about oxygen production. Okay, forget the comparison. But what does this discovery mean? It could fundamentally change our understanding of where and how life begins, at least in terms of the emergence of aerobic oxygen-breathing life. Until now, we thought that sunlight was necessary for the emergence of aerobic life as we know it in the vast majority of cases. Life forms like us need oxygen to breathe, and oxygen is produced by photosynthesis, which in turn requires sunlight. But if there is a way to produce oxygen without sunlight, then this opens up completely new possibilities. Andrew Sweetman says, according to our understanding, the oxygen supply of the Earth began with photosynthetic organisms, but we now know that oxygen is also produced in the deep sea where there is no light. I think that we therefore have to rethink questions such as the following. Where could aerobic life have started? Think of all the places in the universe where we previously thought that life was not possible because there is not enough sunlight or none at all. The oceans under the ice sheet of Jupiter's moon Europa, for example, or the methane lakes on Saturn's moon Titan. If processes similar to those in the Clarion-Clipperton Zone were to occur there, then life would suddenly be possible in places that we previously considered to be absolutely hostile to life. Alien organisms in exo-oceans that have never seen a ray of sunlight are somehow creepy. But the discovery is not only interesting for the search for extraterrestrial life, it could also explain how life on Earth came about. Perhaps there was already life in the depths of the primordial oceans long before the first photosynthetic organisms enriched the atmosphere with oxygen. That would completely turn our picture of the development of life on Earth upside down. Perhaps we wouldn't even exist without these manganese nodules and without dark oxygen. Reason enough to say thank you. Why don't you all write, "Thank you, dear manganese nodules," in the comments? I think that would be appropriate. And as if that weren't enough, this discovery could also have very practical applications. Imagine if we could imitate this process and produce oxygen on a large scale. Perhaps in the future we will see huge underwater oxygen farms that supply our cities with fresh air. But as is often the case in science, this discovery also raises new questions. For example, how long has this process been going on? Does it have an impact on the global climate? And above all, is there perhaps already life in the deep sea that has adapted to this unusual source of oxygen? Further research will be needed to find out. The researchers are already planning to take more samples from the Clarion-Clipperton zone and to examine exactly what is going on down there. Perhaps they will discover even more surprises. Who knows, maybe they will even find the underwater civilization that has been living peacefully for millions of years and is wondering why we humans on the surface are always causing so much stress. If they exist, I hope they are as fascinated by us as we are by them, and that they are not too angry that we stole their manganese nodule batteries. But seriously, I am very curious to see what else we will learn about this phenomenon in the future, and who knows, maybe this discovery will inspire some of you to become oceanographers. The deep sea is still one of the least explored places on our planet, so there is certainly much more to discover. And if you never want to miss out on exciting deep sea discoveries again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and activate the bell so that you don't miss any new videos. Speaking of oceans, we in Europe could be facing a mega tsunami. Scientists are watching a mountain in Norway with extreme concern as it is believed to be on the verge of collapsing into the sea, creating an 80-meter tsunami. You can find out all about it and when we can expect it in the video below. And if you want to support the channel, feel free to check out the older videos. Otherwise, I'd say see you in the next video. Take care, friends.